Andrew Baldwin. Thank you for joining me today.
Oh, thanks for having me.
First things first, how long have you been doing improv?
Since like fall 2018.
Okay.
So 5 years, going on 5?
Yeah.
I think so.
That's a good amount of time.
It's a solid amount of time. Too much time.
How'd you get into it?
My partner went to grad school here in not the Annoyance specifically,
Sure.
but Roosevelt. And I always said if I was in Chicago, I was gonna do Second City.
Okay.
And then that was my start. And then I did Second City's programs. Like that was my first like improv training, was their improv track. And then they're like, oh, that's not the program. So then I was like, I guess I'll do conservatory. And then I did this program.
Okay. Which one did you like more, like for your personal style of improv?
I think The Annoyance.
Okay.
And that's not a plug because we're in the basement. It's and I feel like it's nice because I feel these are very nice opinions and it doesn't inherently shit on either. Like for improv, go to an improv place. I would say like the improv track at Second City is just geared towards like very, very basic, like just, improv technically. And then the conservatory, right, is to build a second story type show. So that's like inherently different. So then for improv Annoyance, I never did IO. So I have no impression of IO besides the fact that it was racist.
I did do IO because I felt that it was the top improv spot when I got to Chicago. But there, as Second City focuses you on doing sketch shows, IO focuses on you on doing the Herald. And I'm not necessarily a fan of the Herald.
I still attest that I've never seen a Herald. I've never done one. I for sure have never done one.
Sure.
But and then someone, Maria, who teaches here, she was like, if you've seen a sitcom, you've seen a Herald. I was like, fine, I guess I have. But
Maria from Flex?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Shout out to Flex.
Shout out to Flex, Wednesday night, 8 o'clock, depending on when you're watching this. Yeah, Maria's great. What was your first show that you saw that like made you think that, oh, okay, like this is what I want to do?
In an earlier sense, that planted the seed of like, this is something I want to do, but not necessarily I would make any money from it.
Right.
It was, I don't know. I'm a 90s baby.
Sure,
so,
me too.
Like, it was SNL, and it was, whose line is it anyway?
Okay.
I feel like, the thing of people shitting on short form, but that's most people's introduction to improv anyway.
Absolutely.
And then you eventually then there's like a switch where you're like, fuck this! And short form is neither here nor there, to me personally. But then I think, it's like I can't remember what ETC show was up when I was at Second City getting like the free student discounts.
Yeah.
But I think it was like Gaslight. I want to say Gaslight Anthem, but I know that's a band. But Gaslight District, that's it. So I saw that show I think like 4 or 5 times, and I was just like, God, this is clever.
Right.
I was like, this would be cool to do. Which then in my mind was, if I'm at this level, then that means like maybe make money.
Yeah, absolutely. Speaking of IO shutting down and everything, do you believe that the summer of 2020 helped the improv space get more inclusion, or do you feel that it was going that way anyway?
I wasn't super, I was in classes in like 2018 going into 2019, but I wouldn't really say I was like in the scene.
Sure.
Like I, with some friends, put up like our first show February 2020.
Okay.
And that was like my first jaunt of like, let's do something.
Right.
So I wasn't like, I was just at that point getting to the point where I was like, I recognize these people from auditions or blah, blah, blah. So, and I wasn't super versed on how well theaters were handling things.
Yeah.
I think I will give it the benefit of the doubt and say some things were good. I think more blanket statement we can say that theaters were saying they would do things, and then like more people were getting pissed and like kind of holding them accountable.
Right.
So things were on like that slow trajectory. I mean, like, well, we have to do things to appease. But then 2020 happened, and it was like there was that reckoning, and people were like, we're not gonna fucking put up with this. Like, you have to change, or you're not gonna get our business. Right. You're not gonna get our talent. Which was unfortunate that it came to that, but like all arts did that, right? Like I'm a classical musician by schooling, and inherently all of the isms are in classical music so hard.
Sure.
So like to the point where like I'm a percussionist, and like most of what I do is new music, right? Not like orchestral shit, even though that was my training. And then a lot of people in that sphere like to be like, well, we're like contemporary musicians. We're not like racist or elitist. I'm like, you hella are. And I was like, you think like the average person from like a low income area is like going to fucking Juilliard regularly? No, like get the fuck out of here. And Juilliard's a bad example for no reason, because they're not like super contemporary, they're like very classic. Doesn't matter. Right. The point is, all the arts were like, oh fuck, we said we liked people of color, now we kind of really have to do it.
Where in Chicago did you first put on your first improv show?
Second City.
Okay.
Because they do like the coached ensemble thing, so I like auditioned in that. And then they had this thing called Pillow Fight. Do you know that? Remember that? It's like you would put a team together, and it was like, it's through their training center, and then you would like it'd be like groups would perform throughout like weeks. And then people would vote on like the teams they wanted to advance. So then like the top two teams from one night would go on, then the top two teams from one night, and then those all compete. And then it doesn't matter. The ending the ending group got like a 4-week run in one of their training center stages. So that was like, it was like they put forth the space for us, but we put it up.
Sure. That's pretty cool. Who are some of your favorite voices, POC voices in improv right now?
Oh man. Shout out to, I love my dear friend Edgar Navarez.
Okay.
He's a witty, funny boy. Cassie Middlemist. There are so many others, but those are the ones that like Eileen, Tremaine, Chloe Michaela, all these people, so great.
Sure.
Warren Stokes.
Yo, I love Warren.
Flavor, all those guys. Yeah.
Warren was in a group called Birdman Hands with my guy Sherman.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Birdman Hands.
And those guys kill every time. Also, shout out to Sherman. If I was in Chicago looking for a good POC show, I know you shouted out Flavor, but is there any other like POC shows that people should check out if they're in the city?
Yo, I don't know when this is going up.
Yeah.
But you gotta see the title is so very proper, but it's like Dance Like There Are Black People Watching. But it's the Black Excellence show at Second City. It's just, no one has said a remotely bad thing about it. Not even like a lukewarm. Everything's like, this is the fucking best. So man, check that out. And right now, besides like Flavor, I know there are definitely POC groups, but I'm just thinking about like POC individuals I've seen.
Sure.
I gotta get back out checking groups.
When you're on stage and something comes up that you're like, this would be funny in my household, but I don't know if I want to do this character. Like, are you conscious of characters that you do on stage in front of our audience, which is mostly white?
Oh yeah, I don't think you can be, but I will still do it. I had a switch where it was, and it's like a joke. If you ask anyone in I play with Hamilton and Baby. And then they always, it's like, oh, Andrew's on the show tonight, it's gonna be racist. Or like, he's gonna make someone a racist. And it just kind of became a bit, so I was like, fucking, I will now. But it's like, at some juncture, I mean, like, I won't do it to a point where I'm like, I will derail a show because I think this is funny and you shouldn't dictate what I will deem appropriate. In a sense of like race, and I'm like, I don't care that there's 99 white people and one black person, I won't just go into that situation and be like, I'm time to intentionally tank this show. But if I do something where I was like, no, like it is done tactfully and well,
Right.
I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna do it. I have no problem saying you. It's like, oh, the Schaumburg KKK. Shout out to Schaumburg.
But not the KKK.
But not the KKK. Schaumburg, you're okay.
Yeah. Have you been able to perform with any of your favorite OGs of improv?
I was aware of Jules Morales, and I got to perform with her. She's amazing. I have been aware of EJ, who I understudied, so I inherently could not perform with him.
Right.
But it was really cool to be like, I'm saying your words that you wrote, and I remember just seeing him on ETC and being like, man, that guy is funny. And Jules, and then Jonald, who works with Jules, like they have Stepping Stone.
Okay.
Also follow Stepping Stone and everything. POC, woman founded, led improv theater, starting to do stuff in the city. But so those are like the big names but then it's also just like people where that were kind of like going through the programs the same time as me, and it was like I'd see them doing student shows, and that person's funny. Right. I would love to do something with them, and then I would just be like, you want to put a show together, you know?
So Stepping Stone is a new theater in Chicago?
Yeah, they don't have a brick and mortar location yet.
Okay.
But they put on a production at The Annoyance over the summer, last summer 2022, called Starving the Heart. They're doing a lot of outreach stuff, which is very impressive.
Yeah, for sure. All right, Andrew, if you could put together a team, whether it's a team that you're on or just an all-star team that you would like to see, who would you put together?
Are there any restrictions?
No. I mean, let's say they have to be alive.
Okay. Okay, for some reason jumped in my mind, I really love Andy Samberg.
Okay.
He's a very ridiculous boy. Ari Shafir came to my mind, and he's the stand-up. He doesn't do, but that I feel like that would just be silly. Jordan Savusa, who he's on ETC right now. He's a funny, silly boy. Adisa Williams, if you know her.
I do not.
She's very funny. Parker, I think his last name is Callahan. I also might just be fucking butchering that. I'm sorry. Parker, you do not know me personally, but I think you're very hilarious. I think that would just be like a nice, funny, silly team. And Vinnie Thomas.
Okay. I'm not aware of Vinnie Thomas.
Check him out. He is a Chicago boy that's making things happen right now.
For sure. Where does he usually perform?
He's in LA right now.
Oh, okay.
So he just finished a show for Apple TV.
Okay.
And I think he's in that project phase of his career. I think I don't know if he's like regularly doing open stage.
Any thoughts of moving to LA personally?
No. I've never been, but just hearing about it. I mean, because everyone's like, there's no transit,
right.
And you have to own a car just to get stuck in traffic. And I'm like, that's the worst part of a car. It's being stuck. I was like, so nothing about LA sounds appealing. I'm not opposed to it. If someone is like, this is an opportunity for you,
right.
You have to be in LA. I'm like, obviously I'll do it.
Right.
I don't have morals. But preferably, it'd be cool. Like if I had to move, just New York. I like New York. Stereotypical, but I like it.
Okay. Nothing wrong with New York.
Nothing wrong. Mm-hmm. I like Chicago people who really is. Yeah, they don't have garbage everywhere. And it's like, that is the least of my concerns.
Thank you very much for coming
Thanks for having me, man.
Yeah, no problem. Andrew Baldwin and The Annoyance. Thank you very much.
Hell yeah.
Hell yeah. I think that was a good interview.
Nice.